Very happy to have you to here today, Pat. Very much enjoyed our last conversations and been working with you for a number of months now on your side. Tell you what, just to give a little introduction, you mind just kind of introducing who you are, what you're all about, and kind of just telling everybody what your role is on your side.
So a little bit about myself is I worked at JP Morgan on the private bank side, and coming from rural central Illinois, I saw about how much people what they weren't getting. And I don't know why one of those virtues is it sticks out to me. Like I was the guy in class, right? To be like if somebody got to the front of class, like no 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 no. Nope, it's her turn to go to nope, it's her turn to go lead the lunch line. And that was me. JP Morgan was such a great training ground because you got to see all of the different idiosyncrasies of a really well thought out bank, right? Jamie Dimon is one of I respect the most in the industry. So then you get to see mortgages, you see investments, you get to see how some type of the private equity deals go on, business owners, just the day to day of how you interact. So I saw that. And then what I saw though was we technically were fiduciaries, but we could only offer what JP Morgan allowed us to offer. And that's okay. It's a franchise model. So that could be, Edward Jones, Raymond James, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. They're great firms. But what I saw is like, well, the pain points my clients are following is taxes or debt. And I'm thinking, Pat, we can't really give that advice. We kind of have to give them three options for that. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want them to pay this extra money when I know that they're really paying 80% effective interest cost. So what we did is we didn't know it back then, but we started to build what's called a virtual private wealth family office, which basically means you actually have to have $25 million or more to have access to all of these professionals in one. So my job is to coordinate all of that, Ethan, and be like, okay, there's nothing worse than be like, okay, we'll wait for 2 days to get the taxes from the CPA. But then once we get that, now we can work on the trust. Well, how about we just coordinate all of that? But it's not a one-stop shop as much as it's a one-stop answer. Yep, I got you. We'll get you with that person. It's the best that I've vetted in the industry, and we'll get you that next stop. So that's what we did. We built a virtual private wealth family office. We got fortunate with AI. And of course, after COVID, it really exploded.
Definitely. And so, I mean, talking about this area, there's always a lot of complexities with the customers you work with, a lot of frustrations that they run into when they have to work with you to gather the documents or the questions or the answers that you need to be able to provide. What have you seen on your side that allows this system to work so much better than other systems?
The system, because that's a great point. It's that people don't have systems. You and me have talked offline about systems, architecture, infrastructure, processes. It seems foreign, but it's just not that tough. It's that first 70% just getting there. So what I've seen is I always talk about documentation and substantiation, right? So strategies are great. Like what could we do? Well, what we don't quite realize is, the CPA world is they're the referee of the game. They're there just to make sure that no one gets in trouble and people follow the rules, but they're not the coach. The coach is actually going to give you the strategy of where to go. So if we know the rules to the game by the referee, i.e. CPA, well, now we could talk to the coach. However, if we don't know the rules to the game, documentation and substantiation throughout the year, tax time is not going to feel too fun.
Definitely.
What I found was that pain was they're like, oh my gosh, you're saying that this is all done each month? Yes. Yep. So now we can take advantage of the strategy or that analogy to the coach.
You kind of alluded the advantages that AI's brought into this world, right? And so we're kind of at a crossroads where we have this legacy version of how to do the inputs, right? The accounting, the bookkeeping efforts, basically having the conversation with the coach of understanding the rules, to now we have this AI capability. And what are the differences you're seeing now when working with customers? Are you seeing a lot more questions get asked on your side? Are you able to provide quicker responses because of AI? Where do you see the impact of AI really hitting the hardest when it comes to not only yourself, but your customers too at the same time?
Yeah, that's very important. I think what needs to be stated first is of them understanding what exactly AI is. So there's multiple people, and you get the whole gamut of what they think it is. And it's just like, this is the more efficient way to calculate numbers. So if not just that though, it's an extra level. So remember, I'll bring them back to the calculator versus long division game. I go, remember that? Like, I don't want to put all my numbers in this calculator. Then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, how could we ever go back? So I said, if you take that standpoint, just stay with me there, Mr. or Mrs. Business owner or consumer. So now I go, I want you to know how it feels. So I go so I put him in a situation. So I said, you're at a restaurant with your husband or your wife, and then you swipe the card. Now we know maybe that if we have a strategy coming on, we may have to document the minutes because we talked about business at that meal. So put it in your phone. Funny, but have some humor. Now, when you get home, you don't have to go put something back in there. AI already did it for you. And then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, Pat, that makes sense. And I said, yes, it just makes it simple. And again, great. Now you don't have to go back in there. Go hold your wife's hand, go on a walk, come back and watch a movie, right? And now you can enjoy life. It simplifies the granularity of the stuff that we don't want to do.
Definitely. And Pat, that's always been something from our side in Uplink that we notice all the time that our customers, our small business owners that we work with, they didn't get into running a small business because they wanted to worry about the numbers or do accounting efforts or finances at the end of the day. They had a passion for a select industry and they want to grow the business. They want to work with it. But just as you said, they want to spend the evenings with the family. They want to watch a movie, right? They don't want to be doing that at the end of the day. And so we've developed a relationship together on our side, you working with us at Uplink to help facilitate the growth of the small business owner through the financial side. Why choose us at the end of the day? What was it about us that stood out to you guys on your side? I mean, you guys being the financial experts and the understanding of all the little details in there, but the assembly of the finances, right? Putting the items together to be able to provide to the coach, using that analogy again. Why choose us at the end of the day?
So this will probably be the biggest compliment I could ever give you. Is you ever heard about, I think it's on Masterclass, but it's Neil Tyson deGrasse. I think he's the
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
astrophysicist.
Yep.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. The best verbiage I could ever say is, unfortunately, in our industry or in a lot of financial profession industries, whatever your profession, is they know enough about a subject they think they're right. Do you know, have you seen this?
Yeah.
But they don't know enough about the subject, or they don't want to challenge themselves to know enough about a subject to think that they possibly could be wrong. Now, I'm not going to do this, what he does, right? So what I did was, as I'm on this journey to be like, okay, how do I stay relevant to my clients with a little bit of humor, because that's me, but solve their problem? And one of it was taxes. And a lot of it, as I got into it, are like, tax time is just XYZ. So I interviewed several AI companies that do bookkeeping. And I interviewed several bookkeepers. And what I found was then the bookkeeper was unorganized because they needed their own systems and processes. So then I would have to rely on that person. Then I have key man or key woman risk. If they leave that business, that next person, they don't have systems, processes, infrastructure. So I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a person bookkeeper. Maybe sometimes if they need me. Then I said, all right. So I found Uplink. And I'm like, again, I'm going to vet or talk, and I'm always with an open mind. And then ultimately it was like, this is great. So walk me through your process. So then all of a sudden I became a client. And this is before we even started talking about professional partnerships, right? Strategically. And I'm like, this feels good, right? I'm a business owner. I have 7 entities. And I'm like, this is great. And they're going to do this. And then now they're going to do my catch up stuff. Cause I'm like, I do not want to do the catch up work. I'm like, you do that? Awesome. Right. So then as I started to feel it, I'm like, okay, I got to tell people about this. And that's when it clicked. And then all of a sudden I got to meet Matt. I got to meet Ethan. I got to meet Allie. I got to meet Kim. I got to meet Eric. I got to meet Ashley, right? Now it's your people. So that speaks to this. And this is a point, if I can make any point of this whole conversation, it's this. It's Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, as you know. They asked him about 2 months ago or a month ago, they said, who's the smartest person that you know or you've ever met? And he thought about it. And he goes, it was a coder. And he's like, he was like the Mozart of coding. And the next one, she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to take that back. That what I see over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, the smartest people that I know are going to be ingratiated in that technology, but can connect on a human level. AI is there to elevate and support. I would love to do coding.